Thank you so much for sharing the film with us. Congratulations on your world premiere. I want to ask you first about why did you want to tell this story? And how did you embark on trying to tell it?
I'll say something.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Doc NYC, for giving us this opportunity. It feels like homecoming, bringing this film to New York. This is where it started. So we appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who made it out. Yeah, this film, why? I'm from Venezuela, and we had already worked on a film together in Venezuela about protests, anti-government protests that happened, and a lot of people started to leave the country after that, and this just felt like the next step of that story. Like that was the massive migration that was happening, and yeah, we took a scouting trip to the border, and we were just shocked by what we saw, and we knew right away, right, that there was a film there somehow, somewhere.
Would you like to add?
Yeah, I'll add a little something. Well, no, for me it was a bit different. Actually, it's not like I woke up one morning and I was like, oh, I need to dedicate the next 4 years of my life documenting Venezuela, because I'm not from Venezuela. Actually, fell in love with Braulio back then, and that's through his eyes that I first learn about what was happening in Venezuela, and I could witness how painful it was for you, actually, and being away from your country, not being able to go back, also being separated from your loved ones, and yeah, and I wanted to create something with you, and it felt really right to work together, so that's how it started for me, actually.
That's a much better answer.
Yeah, that's a fantastic answer. I love it. I want to ask you about the tone of the film. For me, it was very observational, very non-judgmental. You let the story tell itself, and you are in it, your lens is in it, but also kind of taking a distance. And then, by the end, a lot is revealed, but a lot is not revealed. And so, can you talk about that? Can you talk about maintaining that line and making this so distinctive and interesting?
Yeah, I think we went in wanting to make a purely observational film, but our characters, we just got along so well. They would just start talking to us all the time we were filming, and so we just became really friendly with each other, and it felt like the more natural thing to do was to let them interact with us whenever they wanted to. And, we were mainly observational, but open to just the interaction with the characters. Yeah, just it felt natural that way.
Yeah, so this leads me to my next question, which I wanted to ask you about building the trust, and how you did that, and how you managed to make them open up to you, and you say have this rapport that you were just talking about, because it's a very tricky line for a documentarian, right? Like, you want to be in the story, but you don't really want to be in the story, and you have to get the people's trust so that they can make the story, basically. So can you talk about building that trust?
Yes, so there are some scenes in the film where they have their face masks on. We did shoot during COVID. This was during 2020, 2021. But at the beginning, they would not like to take their masks off as much. They were kind of protecting still their identity a bit. But we just spent so much time together that, again, like I said before, we just became friends, and I think they really understood what we were trying to do. And it wasn't as hard as we thought it would be, because I think this was the experience we had there, which was people really wanted to tell their story. People really wanted someone to pay attention to them, someone to understand that, what their situation was, and hopefully tell spread the word that this is happening in this area, that people should care about it. And so I felt like they were much more open than we expected them to be. Everyone felt like they wanted to say something, right?
They spontaneously wanted to talk to us about what was happening. to them. And I think also we just spent time not filming them, just hanging out, building the relationship. Also, it helped that there was this very, very cute baby. Jason. So for me, it was just like interacting with the baby, and it just like, it felt right. I really wanted to adopt him at the end, but couldn't.
He was an amazing assistant cameraman.
Do we have questions from the audience? That's right here.
Hola, thank you very much for all this effort that you just did and showed to us. It's amazing, and I just wanted to know if you had any story afterwards about these people that you build this relationship with, and if you can share any of this. Of course, I know if it's not too much. That's fine.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you.
So I think anyone who's ever worked with migrants has had a similar experience where they kind of disappear for a while, then they pop up in another country, they disappear, they pop up in another country. So Español, he disappeared for a while, popped up in Mexico, disappeared for a while, popped up back in Venezuela, and now he's in Colombia. He says he's trying to make it back here. Barrabas, same. They were in Medellin for a while as the film shows. Disappeared for a while, and then they disappeared for a very long time actually. And now he popped up in Washington, D.C. Very recently. And Jenny, Mar, and Jason, unfortunately, are still in Colombia though. But yeah, that's kind of where they're at right now.
Thank you.
I had a question, just listening to this. As a curator, there are a lot of films about migrants, about immigration. We have several in the program this year. I'm a migrant myself. There's so many people in this city. Do you find that with this film you wanted to join a conversation that's already happening, or what did you want to add to that conversation? Because it's everywhere. We're all having that conversation wherever we stand on what it means or what it is. And films give it a humanitarian face, real individual people who are doing this. It's not a number, it's not just a crisis or whatever it is the media term is.
I never want to answer any question.
I think you just said it though. That's exactly what our goal was. We knew the numbers were scared. 7.7 million Venezuelans have left Venezuela. That's a massive amount of people, but it's still just a number. And so we wanted to just give that number a face, give it a story. Hopefully we were able to do that. But yeah, that was our goal. We wanted to make it, a human connection, not just statistics.
Mm-hmm.
I think you succeeded.
Thank you.
Do we have other questions?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, just congratulations to you both. It's an extraordinary film. It's Philip, one of your former teachers at New York Film Academy. And
The light is crazy, so we
yeah, I understand. I know how it is when you're in the spotlight and everything's going crazy. Forget being a teacher. I'm learning, and everyone here is learning so much from you tonight, from this film. It's just unbelievable. The shooting is extraordinary, and the editing is extraordinary. And I just love I don't know if each one of you could just say a word about what's for your, for each of those individual parts of the craft, if you had some sort of guiding principle that kind of defines your look.
You're gonna start this. Guiding principle. Damn, that's a good question, Shane. Yeah, like a tip, you mean?
Well, I was just thinking in terms, honestly, one of the things that comes across that's so amazing to me is the patience. The patience as the camera person, and the patience in the pace of the cutting and things like that, which ends up allowing us as an audience to do amazing things. So,
Thank you. Honestly, I look at it and I see all the things that I don't like that I did. That's the experience I have when I watch it. I focus on all the mistakes, all the things I missed, all the things I could have done better. but I think we did, we spent so much time with them and working on this project, shooting, editing, that you eventually kind of, I don't know, you kind of land on a rhythm, and this was experimenting a lot, at least for me shooting, and Anaïs will tell you on editing, but we were kind of figuring out what the style it was, and I don't think it's very clear, honestly. I think we had an idea, and we kind of just let it flow, and whatever happened, and the same with like the characters, they just naturally wanted to interact, so we let that happen, and yeah.
Should I add something? I don't know.
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, I think, we followed the natural rhythm of the experience we had, right? So it's kind of matching that. I mean, editing, I guess you can change a lot. You could just give it a completely different style or tone, but I think we wanted it to match what we experienced. So, and we didn't want to. We wanted it to be a quiet film somehow. So there's space for people to feel and just feel it by themselves, not really tell people what you think, just like it happened for us. Right? I mean, that's my experience, right? No.
Okay, we can go here. Yes.
Thank you so much. Also Venezuelan, worked in Colombia, in Cucuta, with Venezuelan migrants and refugees for 5 years. How did you navigate your own privilege as a Venezuelan? We're here, that means that we have certain privilege. When you were trying to tell the story and with that interaction with them, like personally, how was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we're from Venezuela, they're from Venezuela, but we're in very different circumstances. I think the fact that we were very clear about that from the beginning, like, we talked at length with the characters, like, listen, we live in this area, we're trying to do this. Like, is that something you're okay with? Is that something you're interested in? Is that something, we don't want to feel like we're just going to film you and then go back home and then that's it, We wanted to make sure that there was trust and that we built a relationship and that they always felt that they had a say in what was being done, what was being filmed, how it was being filmed. I mean, they kind of helped produce a lot of the things we did, really, They would have to tell us, like, hey, we're going to do this, or hey, we're going to do that. Do you want to film it? And then, we would make a decision based on that. But Español, he lived on the Venezuelan side. He wanted me to go film all the time in Venezuela, which was a risk because you had to go through guerrilla checkpoints, and it was like, yeah, it sounds cool, but I don't want to do it 10 times a week, So, so I think we based it a lot off of what they wanted to do, really. And then as it grew, the relationship grew, we kind of felt more liberties to, to ask for certain things or to, investigate more areas that we were interested in following in this film. But yeah, I think that was. Does that sound right to you? Okay.
You had a question?
Congratulations. I wanted to know how long did you spend with them? Also, how hard it was physically or mentally, being in that situation of like closing with them, and how hard it is not to interfere and help them.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. How long were we with them? We were with them for like, like in total, like almost like 2 years shooting. So almost like 2 years building, since we met them and since we. Yeah. Second question was, sorry.
Well,
what?
The last one was how hard it is to not interfere, to help them.
Yeah. So the worst part of producing I ever did, was when we followed them on their journey.
I was thinking right in the middle, like.
I made a horrible, producing this. I mean, I'm not a producer, so, but that was evident in that moment because we were in a very, very, very bad situation. And we had to forfeit all the filmmaking, put that all aside to make sure that we took care of our characters. We have a baby, we We weren't taking those risks with these people. Even if it would have been the most amazing scenes ever, we weren't willing to take those risks. So in that particular moment, in that scene when it's like late at night, we started hailing down any car, any bus that would just give us a ride. Because we were like 12 hours away from the next possible checkpoint, anywhere that wasn't a highway. So that was really bad situation, yeah. Yeah.
They already gave me the sign, but I have a question. Yep, over there, last question. Yes.
Congratulations, first of all. It was an amazing film.
Thank you.
There is a specific part of the documentary that one of them helped you to, well, told you to hide the camera because of the armed groups and the, I don't know if it was the police. I just was wondering if you had to deal with them, and if that's the case, how you did. Because, I mean, I come from Venezuela, I know how hard it is to deal with this kind of, well, I don't know how to say that. Yeah, it's a situation. So yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was one of the more difficult areas to navigate during this film, because there was two armed groups on both sides of the border that would have their own set of rules. But the main rule for all of them was there's no cameras allowed. So that was very tricky to navigate. But again, we spent so much time there, and we had to get to know a lot of these people. I mean, up until the last day, we didn't know that some of the people we hung out with were part of these groups. It's all like mixed, you know, and so it was very difficult to navigate. We would get certain warnings here and there, or we'd be told like, hey, you can't go here, or hey, we saw you doing this, you can't do that, or, and towards the end it got particularly hairy because the police was also obviously involved with both groups, and so we were getting like warnings from all three. But yeah, that was.
You got like hooded people.
Yeah.
Like a group of them.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
Braulio and Anaïs, thank you so much for sharing this film with us tonight. Congratulations on this work.